Welcome to the Private Practice with Soul podcast. My name is Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and I help private practice owners align their business back with their soul's calling, with their big vision and with their soul's purpose. Unlike other private practice coaches, I've traveled the world in search of spiritual resources, spiritual tools, education and information so that you can have the transformation that your soul desires and needs so that you can up-level your business. How much fun is this? I love it so much. Guys, if you're not already a member of the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group, please check out the show notes. I would love for you to be there. In the meantime, thank you so much for pushing play today. Let's begin. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you to all of the new listeners as well. It just fills me with so much love and so much joy to see the numbers climb every single week. So thank you so much. I'm pleased that the content I'm putting out there is landing for you. Have a super powerful, I hope it's going to be powerful. I think I have a super powerful podcast for you today. But just a quick mini announcement, if you like. Some people were asking me recently, how can they find the episodes just on alignment or just on starting a private practice or just on marketing? And so that's a really good question, because I think when you scroll back, you can absolutely miss episodes here and there that are relevant to what you're wanting. So to that extent, what I've done is in our Private Practice with Soul Hub, I have now created for you it's called a module. I've created a module, and within that module, I've been able to sort out all of the podcasts into their relevant topics and groups. This is just going to make your life so much easier if you're needing quick help on a particular topic. So if you're needing help with marketing, you'll just be able to jump in there and listen to 10 or 20 episodes on marketing, get some action steps and take them away with you. So that's there. I will put the link for that in the show notes so that you can go and check it out. The other thing that I want to do is just, again, say thank you very much for being here. So, excuse me for 1 minute. Gabe, come on. That's a good boy. In your bed. Sorry, I couldn't compete with the pitter-patter on the floorboards here, so he has a little bed next to me, so hopefully if he's in his bed, he'll be quiet for us, because, this is a really powerful podcast, I think. You tell me, though. So, okay. I've titled this podcast As Within, So Without, but that's probably the wrong thing to call it, because on reflection, I think I should probably call it Coming Home. And while this is absolutely about your private practice, this episode is going to help you take a few steps back. And I think it's really important that we do that from time to time, because it helps us with our grounding. So, when we think about As Within, So Without, or when we think about coming home, I want you to really reflect for a moment on what coming home means for your private practice. And I mean coming home to your soul or your heart space, or that beautiful energy. I always put my hand on my chest, and I like to think of it as my heart space, or I like to think, I know my soul goes through my body and around my body. That's how I think of it. But I like to think also of this energy being in my heart space. But when you allow yourself to really come home and step back and be in that space, what do you see? Do you see clients? Do you see bookings? Do you see turnover for the practice? And this is important, because if you can take a step back, right? Imagine we just have a photo of your practice, and we have in that photo, there's you in it, there's, some clients, there's the furnishings, there's, I don't know, a screenshot of the spreadsheet that shows all the money. I mean, if you have a look at just imagine a big photo of your private practice, and we're looking at that together, what do you see in terms of things like the bookings, the income, the clients that are coming through, the presentations that are coming through? Because here's the thing. I believe that what you're seeing in that picture is, something within you that's been reflected back. It's as if what you're seeing in that picture, it's like that picture is a mirror and it's reflecting back to you those things that already sit within you. And that's what we mean by as within, so without, as above, so below. And so if you look at this picture and you see the clients are down, or the client numbers are down, or they're not really the presentations that light you up, or you're not really getting to do the EMDR that you want to do, or if you're like me, you're not really getting to support people in infusing that spiritual element to their growth, then that's indicative that there's something within you that's the same, right? There's something in you that's perhaps holding you back, okay? And so what I'd like you to do is just allow yourself to really look at that reflection and to hold space for yourself and witness the sensations that come through for you. Where do you feel it in your body, and what are you feeling in your body when you look at this picture of where the practice is at now? Do you feel it in your tummy? Do you feel it in your chest? Do you feel it in your jaw? Allow yourself to notice that, and allow yourself to really witness to the thoughts and beliefs that come through for you. What are you thinking? What are you saying to yourself when you look at this picture? And what does it feel like if you allow yourself for just a moment to have a little bit of compassion? If you're not overly satisfied with where things are at with the business, and what would that compassion look like? How can you support yourself in having compassion for yourself? I think sometimes as women, especially in private practice, we are so used to wearing all the hats, and it's almost as if right from the day we are born, we're, I don't like the words conditioned or programmed, but you know what I mean? It's like encoded in us that we just wear different hats and we do different roles, and that we're givers, and that we're carers, and that we're nurturers, and we embody all of that, don't we? And sometimes we take that to extremes, almost to extremes of not looking after ourselves, and beating ourselves up. And we often will do things that in the light of day, we know in our minds aren't logical, but in our hearts, we feel like, if we don't do well enough at something, then that means we're not good enough, or we're not worthy enough, or we're not enough of something. Okay. So allow yourself to support you in having compassion for yourself. And that really involves you being able to detach from having judgment about where the practice is right now, and to simply be, just simply observe, and with that observation of what comes through with the thoughts, the feelings, the beliefs, the somatic feelings in your body, like what do you notice comes through when you look at that picture? Where in your body do you feel it? And what does it feel like? Is it heavy? Is it tingly? I want you to really think about, and maybe if you're not a feelings person, maybe you're more visual. If it had a color, what color would it be? And where would it be sitting? And what would it look like? For me, when I think of the color of heaviness, I think of like blacks and grays, and it's really smoky almost. It's this mist, this thick fog that hangs over, my belly or something like that. But what about you? What do you see if you're more a visual person? Or, if it had a sound, what would the sound of that feeling be, right? And that's a really interesting energy to play with, the sound of what that feeling would be. I hadn't given that much thought before I put this podcast together, actually. This podcast came through as a result of stream of consciousness writing last night. And it's now, I started recording this podcast at 8:15 this morning. So I'm just looking at my notes now, trying to make sense of them as I go through. But I can remember the first time that I tried to imagine the sound of that heaviness or that sound of not feeling good enough. And what came through was, a parent's voice to me saying that I wasn't good enough, being really disappointed in me for not winning an Eisteddfod that I was in for calisthenics one year. When I was growing up, I did a lot of calisthenics and a lot of ballet, and I won everything. And as an adult woman now, looking back, I can see that I wasn't winning because I loved it. I was winning because I loved the feeling of the attention I got from my father. And so for me, being a little girl, you're not conscious of these things, obviously. All you know is you want to feel a certain way, and you quickly learn how to get that feeling. And for me, it was by winning something. So even now, if I'm criticized, if I feel like I've been judged or something like that, and I ask myself, what's the sound that comes through? I can hear my father's voice, telling me to go away. He's not interested because I didn't come first. I came second or I came third in that Eisteddfod. And so that gave me that feeling of not being good enough. So it's really interesting when you do this work. So when you do, although this is a podcast and you're listening to this while you're cooking or driving or something like that, it's possible that things may come through for you. And I want you to know that if that happens and you need someone to help you process it, or you can jump on a Zoom with me and we can process it together, no strings attached. Let's just get this sorted out for you. But anyway, if you really allow yourself without judgment to just explore what's coming through and hold compassion for yourself, here's what I want you to know. If you feel something like you're not deserving or you're not worthy, I really want you to find a way of reconnecting into that heart space, of reconnecting into your soul, of reconnecting into that loving energy that we all have within us. And look at that same picture, or look at that same feeling or physical sensation or challenge through the eyes of love, right? That's the easiest way for me to say it. When I say, let's let's imagine that your heart space is a pair of glasses, and I want you to put them on and, see things through that lens. That's what I'm referring to here. I want you to try and look at that same situation through a lens of love, because this is going to help you drop out of your yang energy back down into your yin, or drop out of your masculine back down into your feminine. You might write this out in stream of consciousness writing, or perhaps you might take a few breaths. And you can do what I do. I like to just place my hand on my chest, and I just like to, use that action as my anchor. It really helps me remember that, this heart space or this energy in my heart, this is my true home. That for me, anchoring back into that heart space by putting a hand on my chest, for example, is a way for me to access that feeling of being grounded. It's a way that I support myself, and I want you to try it too. And you know what, it might not be putting your hand on your chest. It might be something else that you do. But when you do that, you become really dangerous in a good way. When you can see things through a lens of love, where you can see things through your heart space, you become dangerous because it means that you can access a new level of personal freedom, and you can access a new level of business freedom that were not accessible to you previously. Okay. There's only love in that space. There's no fear. You're able to shift from your ego. And when you do that, you're going to experience a caring less of being judged by others, of, questioning how well you're doing compared to how well others look like they're doing, of worrying about whether you're good enough. Because when you truly connect to that energy inside you, whether it's, you call it your heart space or your soul, but whenever you connect to that loving energy, you already know that you're good enough. You already know that you're everything. You're as much divine energy as you are a human being, as you are a woman, and that's your power right there. Your soul knows this, but sometimes you forget to find a way to connect in with it. I can guide you with my words, but this isn't about you, knowing what to do. You've been listening and following me for a while. You know this stuff, guys. This is about you having your own experience of knowing that you're enough. Okay? And I can't do that for you. So find your way. And when that way becomes, your daily practice, when you actually practice that daily, you become stronger, you become wiser, you become calmer, more confident, and almost invincible in a way. You stop meeting others and talking to their ego from your ego. And instead you meet their ego with that grounding, with that assuring, affirming voice of your soul, with love, compassion, and curiosity. And imagine the different types of experiences you're going to have when you train yourself to do that through this grounding practice. It's time for you to gently awaken your soul now. It's time for you to remember that you are just as much loving, divine energy as you are a woman, an owner of a business, a partner, a mother, and all of the beautiful facets of that magnificent diamond you are. You are light. You are love. You are competent, and you are evolving every single day. And it's my highest honor to be able to watch you, to watch the shifts and watch the transformations and experiences that you have. And I know that you are experiencing them because you share those with me in our groups and in the emails. So maybe this is the next step for some of you. And if you need support with this, I'm only an email away. So reach out. I want to be able to hold that safe space for you to explore this deeper, to explore this inner world, this inner energy, learn how to ground yourself and learn more about this often profound connection that you already have with your soul. I appreciate you so much. And I want to thank you for being so open and allowing me to have these conversations with you. I always strive to be able to bring you transformation on these podcasts. And so the action step, for those of you who like an action step, would really be find a way that works for you to ground yourself in that loving energy. And then start practicing that every day, and start practicing that with, small things first. An issue with the children, or with me, an issue with Gabe or something like that. But allow yourself to build that muscle of anchoring and grounding into that heart space, because, you'll be able to then use it throughout challenges that come up in your practice. And when you do that, that's truly leading a soul-led business. Okay? And yeah, I'm here for you. So as usual, my details are in the show notes. But let me know how you go with this. And if there's anything I can do to support you, reach out. You're beautiful, you are light, you are love, and you can absolutely do this. Okay, guys, have a beautiful Saturday. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast today. If you're looking for clarity, if you need help with branding, your processes, and bringing everything into alignment with your soul's purpose for your private practice, head to the show notes and click the link for more information about the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group. You are going to love it. I can't wait to see you in there. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.